What is up, fellow travelers? Here, the Old Man Gamer here. We're back with some more low sodium game time because my blood pressure is just too damn high. And we are playing Dark Souls 3 again. So last time we left off, we got to the chapel right here at the Cathedral of the Deep. So if you don't have a torch, you should get a torch, because this area is full of dudes who will vomit maggots all over you, and those maggots will cause bleed. So, if you don't have a torch to get rid of all the maggots, you're going to have a very, very, very bad time. So just put it on your offhand where your shield would be. Make sure you have enough endurance for that. So, when you go out here, there's going to be a bunch of different monsters that are going to do that. So your basic hollows right outside the door here are not going to have anything that will cause you to bleed. However, where we're going, there will be folks that will do that to you. Okay, so we'll go down this way first. So you see that guy down there that looks like a sort of like an eel with two arms? Well, he's going to be giving you the maggot treatment if he hits you. So, trust me, you don't want that. So you notice how your bleed meter keeps going up? Well, you're covered in maggots, so you don't necessarily see it. There's usually these white things all over you. Pulling out a torch in those situations will cause them to immediately go away. So you're burning off all these leeches who are causing you to bleed. So, anytime you have the bleed meter go up for no reason and it keeps going up, you're probably covered in maggots. Now these guys over here, if you are a pyromancer, or you have some kind of fire-based weapons, these guys melt when hit by fire. So normally when I play this game, I start out as a pyromancer and then I go for the big weapons. But I started out going for big weapons this time. So I don't normally have the issues that I'm having now, where I'm getting afflicted by this maggot stuff or these leeches. So normally I have pyromancies, I chuck a fireball at these guys, they start freaking out and burning, and then I finish them off with my sword. Or I just step backwards and hit them with another pyromancy. So for the most part, these guys are not a big problem for me. Another twinkling titanite. But as you saw earlier, these guys can be a real handful if you let them get out of control. So that bleed buildup doesn't stop after the normal bleed ends. So normally when you get afflicted by bleed, that meter goes all the way to the top. You have a big burst of damage, and that's it. However, you have that big burst of damage, and then the bleed meter starts to build up again. And so it'll do that 3 times total. So chances are, if you didn't get killed the first time, you could either try to heal through it really quickly, or you have to somehow deal with the bleed. Damn it. Missed that crystal lizard there. I'm going to have to come back and get him. So the thing about crystal lizards is if you let them get away, you have to come back here later once the world state has been reset to get them again. So there's a lot of like little pieces of titanite around here. We're looking for large titanite at this point. There's that big crystal beast over there. Alright, we had a much easier time that time than we did before. Previously, the crystal beast got us quite a number of times. So we're just going to walk over here, circle around. So this area is the place we were at before, the chapel. And this was that shiny that we couldn't get to because it was up in the window. So that over there is a shortcut that we're going to unlock later. So we'll head over this way really quick. Just drop down. And you see that ladder up there? We're going to be going for that. But in the meantime, we're just going to have a little more Estus, and we're going to go back to... So we can't go that way anymore. We have to go back up this way, exit through the window, and then we'll proceed to the next area. So let that guy go. He's just a suicide bomber. He's not concerned with us. Now this area over here is going to be a real pain because these guys coming out of the ground will constantly respawn. They're worth some souls, but they're not really like, you know, worth a whole lot. They're like, yeah, 22. 22 souls is nothing. So we're going to go this way really quick. There's some shinies that we want to get. Actually, we want to have wide sweeping swings over in this area because we're going to get swarmed as soon as we go down here to pick these things up. So there's a soul item and the Executioner's Great Sword. We're going to try to run through here, get away from all these fools because there's a bunch of these dudes that'll... Okay, that's better. There's a bunch of these fools that'll be like vomiting stuff all over you, and anytime they vomit stuff all over you, you'll have that blade effect that we got earlier. Alright, those guys are you trying to get on me? Go away. Okay, so this guy over here is a mutant version of one of them. He's got this thing hanging out in the front of him. Got gunk all over me. So we'll go up here and we'll get our first look at a Grave Warden. The Grave Warden's up there. It's that hooded thing that's coming down the stairs. Watch out for the Grave Wardens because their weapons cause bleed too. So we'll just wait for it to come over this way. There we go. Alright, so you'll notice this tree right here. Well, guess what that means? See all those great arrows sticking out of the ground over there? Well, that means our giant friend is going to help us out here. It's awful nice of him to do so because some of these guys are irritating. Go over here, grab us an undead bone shard. There's a bunch of other stuff that we'll want to grab around here too, so some repair powder. We don't really use repair powder much in this game, but it was kind of important to have in previous installments of Dark Souls because your durability didn't reset as much. So I believe in like Dark Souls 2, you had to have repair powder, or you had to go to the blacksmith fairly often because you didn't have your durability reset every time you set at a bonfire. Let's go this way. Curse Ward Great Shield. Very heavy shield. Supposed to protect you against curse, but it's kind of impractical. It's very heavy. And unless you're like going for the Havel Beast build, where you're just like, okay, I'm going to get the heaviest armor in the entire game and just wear that. Now, with Poise being changed, it doesn't really help you a lot to have like ridiculously heavy armor. So the consensus is that you should just wear some armor, because every piece of armor will reduce some damage taken to you. So in my case, I'm not wearing a helmet, so I'm probably doing myself a disservice. But I don't want to fat roll, so that means that I'm going to have to make some sacrifices when you have to worry about damage and stuff. So my best options at this point is to not get hit. So watch that guy with the crossbow over there. He'll come down eventually, and he'll make his way over this way. We'll whack him when he gets over here. It's going to take a little while, but it's easier than having him shooting at us the whole way over, and the guy with the spear attacking us, and there's a couple more people out there too. So you get the hollow gangbang, and that's not a good idea. Now, so Dark Souls 2 was kind of famous for that. Dark Souls 1, not so much so, but Dark Souls 2 had more of the gangbang aspect to it, where they would have like 4 or 5 guys swarm you at once, and you just get overwhelmed by the number of people coming after you. Have us a little more Estus here. There, buddy. Up the stairs. That's wrong. Some red bug pellets. Alright. There's this guy with the spear over there, and there's another dude hanging off the ledge pretending to be Spider-Man. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over there and try to backstab this dude. Or not. Okay, well, I was hoping to avoid you coming around here. And we got some fire bombs out of that deal. Normally, I just wait till he comes up and just smack him off the edge. So we're going up on the buttresses here. Now, there's going to be a guy over here who's going to come up. He's a suicide bomber, so you want to watch out. This guy up here is too, but... Okay, so we're going to have to worry about a bunch of thralls. This guy's over here. Go away. So I didn't run up here like I normally do. Normally I could just run past him and he'll kind of sit there and look stupid and go back to where he was. And if he happens to see me later on, he'll try to suicide bomb himself. But he didn't do it this time. So we got a bunch of thralls. That one up there, there's a couple more. They're going to drop down. Let's see if we can make this fool stop hanging up there. Alright, that was him. So there'll be a couple more up there. You can see sometimes them hanging off. So there's a hollow over there, two more over there hanging off there, pretending to be Spider-Man. Let's bring that guy. Oh, where'd this guy come from? What are you doing? I don't understand how it is that you guys are able to hit me before I get my shield up. Who knows? Oh, there's another one. Okay, that's that. Okay. We're going to go over here briefly for a minute. I don't have the ability to do this, but if you want to have a little fun and you have a bow, see all these people down in there? A fat Doris over there is incredibly stupid. So if you give her a love tap with an arrow, she will walk off that edge and fall to her death. Don't ask me why, but that's what happens when she does this stuff. You hit her with an arrow, she'll walk off the edge trying to get to you. These other guys over there, you could just arrow shot them to death. If you have a cat ring, you could walk off the edge here, land on that little outcrop, and then you could walk down that way where we're going anyway. It's a little bit safer, but if you don't have a cat ring, you will die, because it will cause you too much damage and it would be considered a death drop. And even if you did survive, they would just gangbang you anyway. So down below us, right over there, there are a bunch of guys with crossbows. So they're going to be shooting at us as we go down. Just as long as you run or you keep moving, they won't hit you. But be aware that this area is, a death drop if you happen to fall off. Okay, now we got our friend with the spear over there. Okay. That's done. Over that way is where Doris and her friends are at. They're guarding some undead hunter charms. And those are nice, but I don't ever go after them. Over there, I believe, are some pellets. That's an ambush. There's a couple thralls. You might be able to see one of them up there. There's a second one up on top of that wall. We're not going to mess with them. We're going to go this way. And we're going to jump across to this buttress. Now, normally if you have pyromancies, this is a great place to go because there's a bunch of ambushes up there that are just waiting to happen. We're not about that life, though. Oh. Okay, cool. I was afraid that we would end up on the ground. This guy's going to drop down and come after us. Okay. So there's nothing up here besides that one guy. So down below us is the ambush. So you can see there's a guy over there, there's a guy up there, two guys over there. So if you walk through that area, you'd have a bunch of thralls jumping all over you. And it's not going to be pretty, so we'd come up this way to avoid them. So let's just drop down on this dude. Well, that was dumb, but, you know, I'm not going to say anything. He may come back after us, but we're not going to worry about that too much. So this other one is over there. So is that thrall down there? You know, it looks like he went away. I wonder if he's smart enough to come over this way. I don't think so. It's kind of a long way for AI to path out. Oh, there he is. Where you going there, little guy? Coming up this way? Come on over so I can plunge you. Oh, he's stuck up against that other dude. Spear Boy's in his way. Yeah. Okay, there's the thrall guy. Alright, got rid of him. And this other guy... Is he pathing over that way? Yeah, he is. Just get rid of these other guys first. Get rid of you. Get rid of you. There's that guy over there. This guy's gonna come back. Come here, halberd boy. And your little oversized spear. Okay, that's him out of the way. So you notice we're not going over this way. There's a soul item there, but there's a bunch of thralls that are going to come out there and jump all over you. And they're fast enough so they can stun lock you, which is always a problem. Okay, so now we got a Grave Warden over here. Grave Wardens are fast, and they have bleed on their weapons. There's going to be another one coming down the stairs in a minute. Oh, that was bad. Okay. Get a Titanite out of that. I was hoping to get that taken care of before the other guy came down, but that's okay. So these two guys up here coming down the stairs are suicide bombers. Now, we don't actually need to fight those guys. They'll just blow themselves up. So, up the stairs here, we're going to have a door and some more hollows. So watch out for this guy. He looks like he's just being innocuous over there, but he is dangerous. Because what will happen is you go over there thinking, oh, hey, look at all these other hollows. You know, you go over there, he'll sneak up behind you, and next thing you know, you're getting stabbed all over the place. Not fun, and I don't recommend it. So over here is the interior of the Cathedral of the Deep. You can see how big it is. There's a bunch of giants we're going to have to deal with soon. But let's see. Over this way, we have an Ember and a bunch of hollows guarding it. This is a gangbang, and I don't particularly feel like dealing with it right now. I might come back to it later, but we're not going to be about that life right now. So this thing over here, if you don't have a fire-based weapon like a firebomb or something, he's a pain in the ass. Just run right by him because he's a damage sponge. Damage sponges are bad. And we have our first look at the deacons. The deacons are just... they're like monks. Most of them are pretty slow moving. But they shoot fireballs at you. Just take them out. Backstabbing them's pretty easy. So what we're going to do, we're going to go back to the shrine using the shortcut here. We've got a lot of souls that we're sitting on, so instead of going in with a whole bunch of souls, because we're going to be dealing with giants here in a minute, we're just going to lock this shortcut so we can come back to it later. And go back to Firelink, and then we're going to cash out these souls before we go in and deal with giants. The giants aren't all that hard, but if you let them get all over you when you're up above, they're very, very dangerous. So once you're underneath them, they're pretty easy to deal with. There's Slave Knight Gael, as usual, still prostrated in front of that shrine, making weird noises and praying or whatever. So we're going to head back to Firelink Shrine. We're going to do some upgrades. We got an undead bone shard to burn. Got to buff up, I think, probably our strength, maybe our hit points. We could use some more damage infliction capability at this point. We have our weapon at +3 already, so we're not going to be able to upgrade that anymore at the present time because we need one more large Titanite. So we might be able to do that a little bit later, because the giants will drop a soul item and a large Titanite. But until then, we don't have the ability to buff our weapon up anymore. So prior to attacking the deacons, we might bump it up to +4, but probably not. So I'm going to end right here. So we'll come back and we'll pick up back at the shrine, or that chapel area that we were at where Slave Knight Gael is kind of hanging out. And then we'll go back and we'll tackle our first giant. So until then, safe travels to you all, and I'll catch you all next time.